Chapter 1911, Negative Merit Points. 1911 Negative Merit Points. Seeing that Ren Xiaoping and Tong Hua were not spared as they handed their immortal materials to Fang Yuan, Miao Mingshen and the rest became worried. If Fang Yuan extorted them too, what would they do? Reject him? That was likely impossible. Miao Mingshen and the rest could not stay in Dragon Whale Paradise forever, they needed to return to Eastern Sea. Even though it was unreasonable for Fang Yuan to take immortal materials from them, it was basically extortion, but for the sake of their future, Miao Mingshen and the rest still had to lower their heads. In this world, strength was the major deciding factor, followed by logic. Just as Miao Mingshen and the rest prepared themselves mentally, Fang Yuan ignored them as he looked towards the merit obelisk. Shen Shang had also seemingly forgotten about Miao Mingshen's group. Only Ren Xiaoping and Tong Hua looked towards Miao Mingshen's group, the former had deep hatred while the latter had a complex emotion. Fang Yuan looked at the merit obelisk. Undeniably, he had completely failed in this mission to exterminate the demonic immortal Shen Shang. This mission had vanished on the merit obelisk. Not only that, Fang Yuan even found that a lot of merit points got deducted. The others were not spared, they had all lost their merit points too. First Supreme Elder, your merit points. Shen Clan's Gu Immortal shouted. Shen Shang had an ashen and solemn expression. He had lost the most merit points, even surpassing Fang Yuan's losses. Even though Fang Yuan fell from his first place position, he still had single-digit merit points. Meanwhile, Shen Shang had negative merit points. This situation surprised Fang Yuan as well. After all, this did not happen in his previous life. Brother Shen, it seems that the merit obelisk punished you the most because you attacked the underwater formation and released Shen Shang. Meanwhile, I did not work properly and even took away the underwater formation, that's why I lost merit points as well. Fang Yuan analyzed. Shen Shang's expression changed, he showed some anxiety. I just received information from the merit obelisk, I need to get a positive amount of merit points in 10 days. Otherwise, I will be kicked out of the Dragon Whale Paradise, I will not be allowed to enter again. Fang Yuan had a thought, with his wisdom path attainment, he quickly analyzed the hidden information behind this. It seems that Dragon Whale Paradise can be explored repeatedly. We can still return. But how do we find it? The biggest problem was finding Dragon Whale Paradise's location in time. Fang Yuan took a glance at Miao Mingshen. Miao Mingshen is able to sense the blue dragon whale and enter it, is this the qualification needed? Long ago, Fang Yuan had made some deductions. Miao Mingshen's ability to sense the blue dragon whale was very mysterious, Fang Yuan could not tell what it was. With Fang Yuan's knowledge and attainment level in many paths, he could tell that even though Miao Mingshen cultivated space path, the method he used was not. This was very strange. Precisely because it was too strange, Fang Yuan was wary and did not capture Miao Mingshen to interrogate him about this method. All sorts of clues pointed out that this method was not his own creation but originated from Dragon Whale Paradise itself, it came from the merit obelisk. Shen Shang looked at his merit points, he frowned at the glaring number, he walked towards the merit obelisk. Fang Yuan, I don't have much time, I can't talk anymore. Fang Yuan nodded, go ahead, brother Shen. If you need help, leave an information path Gu worm at the obelisk and I will definitely help. Seeing the two being so friendly, the immortals behind them had weird expressions. Shen Shang was a righteous path leader, while Fang Yuan was a publicly recognized demon in the 5 regions, was it okay for the two of them to have such a good relationship? Shen Shang heard Fang Yuan's words and smiled at him. He believed Fang Yuan's sincerity, but he believed that the price to get Fang Yuan's help would be extremely high. Thus, if he could resolve the problem, he would rather do it himself. Shen Shang quickly accepted a mid-sized mission and left. In Shen Shang's case, this type of mission was the most efficient in earning merit points. Fang Yuan was the second to walk to the merit obelisk. He continued to choose a large-sized mission. A large-sized mission to reclaim immortal Gu. At the next moment, he found a brand new mission on the merit obelisk. This mission requested him to take back Immortal Gu. They were the ones that he took after dismantling the underwater formation. Fang Yuan looked at the content of this mission closely. This mission had a lot of details. It described the amount that each Immortal Gu was worth in points. Fang Yuan counted the numbers. It was exactly what he had gained. Next, he browsed through it. He found that this mission was basically created for him personally by the merit obelisk. The truth was, earlier when Fang Yuan dismantled the formation, he had not checked through these Immortal Gu. Now with this mission, he could learn about their details without having to experiment personally. From this, Fang Yuan learned that he gained 3 rank 8 Immortal Gu, rank 7 were in the highest quantity, and a good number of rank 6 Immortal Gu. Each Immortal Gu had a huge resale value. Even the lowest rank 6 Immortal Gu was worth 10,000 merit points. The immortals behind him went into waves of gasps. They also saw the mission on the merit obelisk. At once, all of them had varying expressions. They were filled with envy and jealous that could not be concealed. With this exchange rate, Fang Yuan only needed to contribute 1 rank 6 Immortal Gu to get at least 10,000 merit points. This was a huge amount, much more than what Fang Yuan had accumulated earlier. It was absurd. Earlier when manipulating the refinement path formation, they put in effort. After the battle started, they avoided the aftermath of their conflict and expended a lot of immortal essences while feeling great fear. This mission to kill the demonic immortal failed. They did not gain anything. But look at Fang Yuan. He gained a huge number of Immortal Gu. If he exchanged them for merit points, the sum would be unthinkable. Comparison created jealousy. These immortals felt horrible. They were indignant and even angry but were not brave enough to act brazenly in front of the great demon Fang Yuan. Miao Ming Shen and the rest were still fine, but Shen Clan's Gu immortals, Ren Xiuping, and Tong Hua felt even worse. After all, the other party had only lost immortal essence. But they had even lost most of their immortal materials. This situation was too bizarre. Not only were there no gains, they even had to expend their own resources. This was truly a terrible feeling. Fang Yuan did not want to give up a single Immortal Gu. Immortal Gu were unique, such opportunities seldom knock twice. If he needed merit points, he could simply earn them. Why would he give up on his precious Immortal Gu for such petty gains? Most of these Immortal Gu were Earth Path. For ordinary Gu immortals, they would definitely sell those that were not their own path. Immortal Gu required resources to feed after all. But Fang Yuan was different. He cultivated all paths. Earth Path suited him well. Furthermore, he recently gained a lot in Earth Path attainment level. He wondered, should he use these Immortal Gu to form a third Immortal Gu house? If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1912, Refining Immortal Gu. Chapter 1912 Refining Immortal Gu. Earlier, Fang Yuan already had a grand plan to build 3 Immortal Gu houses. Right now, he had already created Myriad Year Flying Warship and Cooking Luck Pot. The final Immortal Gu house was not created yet. Even though he obtained Divine Bean Palace and Dragon Palace during this period of time, these Immortal Gu houses were used by his clones. They were necessary for his plans in the future. He could not use them personally to fight enemies. And most importantly, Divine Bean Palace and Dragon Palace were not suited for his needs. In Fang Yuan's plan, he needed an Immortal Gu house that focused on defense. Myriad Year Flying Warship specialized in speed. It made up for Fang Yuan's weakness in movement. It was also crucial for fighting inside the River of Time. Cooking Luck Pot was designed before Qin Ding Ling appeared. Fang Yuan planned to use it to suppress Heavenly Court's weaker luck, to expand his own advantage. The final third Immortal Gu house was meant for defense and healing. During the Battle of Fate Gu, there would definitely be intense fights and little time for recovery. Fang Yuan needed a powerful defensive Immortal Gu house in the battlefield so that he could gain precious time to heal himself. This Immortal Gu house had to be able to resist even venerable methods to an extent. Earth Path is sturdy, it excels in defense to begin with. I will use these Earth Path Immortal Gu to create my third Immortal Gu house, that will be perfect. Fang Yuan thought about it and made up his mind. Fang Yuan had no idea now that clone Wu Shui already obtained a method to create an Earth Path Immortal Gu house from his Dream Realm exploration. This Immortal Gu house was called Peaceful Soil Heavy Mountain Fortress. It suited his requirements. However, Fang Yuan and his clones had shared attainment but not linked memories. They needed to communicate to gain each other's memories. Eventually, Fang Yuan accepted a large-sized mission to combine two sea areas. Who wants to come with me? Fang Yuan did not rush, he turned around and asked. The immortals looked at each other. Me. Miao Mingshen was the first to react and step forward. Behind him, Guo Qi and the rest also followed. What about you? Fang Yuan looked at the Shen Clan Gu immortals. The Shen Clan Gu immortals were dumbfounded. They had just turned on Fang Yuan earlier, they could not adjust their mindsets so quickly in this period of time. Shen Clan's Gu immortals were not like Miao Mingshen's group, the latter had experienced the benefits of working with Fang Yuan. In their first cooperation with Fang Yuan, it ended up as a failure. Shen Shao shook his head. Thank you for the offer, Lord, we would like to look around first. Shen Shao rejected Fang Yuan politely. The other Shen Clan Gu immortal did not object to his statement. Fang Yuan did not mind it, he smiled towards the last two people, asking, Ren Xiaoping? Tong Hua. What about you? Ren Xiaoping had a grim expression, he did not speak, only shaking his head. Tong Hua was currently startled and did not dare to say or do anything. Fang Yuan expected them to act like this from the start. After all, he had just taken their immortal materials. This showed Shen Songsheng's political ability as well. Shen Songsheng ordered Ren Xiaoping and Tong Hua to give their immortal materials to Fang Yuan. It seemed to have ruined their relationship, but the truth was, it made them helpless to do anything but stay with Shen Clan. In fact, they would even want to stay with Shen Clan after leaving Dragon Whale Paradise to replenish their loss of immortal materials. At the same time, this was a way for Shen Songsheng to suppress Tong Hua and Ren Xiaoping. It made them realize who was calling the shots. Within Dragon Whale Paradise, they had to obey Shen Clan. Even after they leave, they still had to listen to Shen Clan. After joining my Shen Clan's boat, they still wanted to leave. Life was not that easy. Fang Yuan knew Shen Songsheng's scheme, but he did not say anything. With or without Ren Xiaoping and Tong Hua, it did not matter, Fang Yuan's core benefits were untouched. The 5 regional walls were still around, but the super forces were already starting to gather members and accumulate strength. Fang Clan took in Old Ghost by June and Eagle Concubine, Shen Clan took in Ren Xiaoping and Tong Hua. Was there anything weird? Longevity Heaven was even more overbearing, it united the entire Northern Plains Gu immortal world, using the Huang Jin super forces to take in all of Northern Plains lone and demonic immortals. As for Central Continent, they achieved it long ago. The 10 great ancient sects of Central Continent were subsidiaries of Heavenly Court, while most Gu immortals or super forces were attached to the 10 great ancient sects, controlled and kept under their watch. Eventually, Fang Yuan brought Miao Mingshen's group to the mission's location. Floating in the sky, they looked down. The immortals saw these 2 sea areas, one blue and one green, with the blue sea towering high and the green sea hanging low. A large amount of seawater fell from the blue sea and rolled down into the green sea. The seawater in both seas could not mix together. At the place where they met, the blue and green seawater touched each other, emitting a sneering sound, as a huge amount of clouds rose endlessly. At the area where the 2 seas intersected, fish and insects were absent. This was almost a desolate place. It was obvious that there was a major ecological problem. Fang Yuan sighed. It's not simple to combine the 2 sea areas, it is necessary to take into account all the different aspects. We might as well explore and gather information individually. After that, we will assemble and discuss a plan. Miao Mingshen nodded, that is reasonable. Fang Yuan looked at Miao Mingshen and smiled at him. Although his own identity was exposed, Miao Mingshen still cooperated with him. He was able to swiftly change his attitude and continue to follow Fang Yuan's orders. This showed that he was something with great mental fortitude. The immortals scattered and flew around the place, doing their investigations. Fang Yuan was the only one who remained at the same place, using investigative methods while dividing his attention to look into the sovereign immortal aperture. His greatest gain this time was Regret Gu. In his last life, he had followed the design of Regret Pool to use Regret Gu as the core and create a refinement path Gu formation. This life, however, did not need to be so troublesome. Fang Yuan had annexed the entire Langya blessed land and possessed the extremely useful long hair refinement path formation. All he had to do now was to add Regret Gu into this formation. The formation certainly needed to be adjusted. Fang Yuan had already deduced it in advance. At the moment, he only had to watch as Regret Gu was placed in the vacant core position. Lord, Fang Yuan is a current generation demon, aren't we a little too close to him? In the process of detection, Gu Qi took the initiative to fly to the side of Miao Mingshen, looking worried. Miao Mingshen patted Gu Qi's shoulder. Old Gu, you want to ask me why I treated Fang Yuan in this manner, almost acting like his subordinate, right? Gu Qi smiled in embarrassment. Lord, you are very perceptive. Miao Mingshen's face was slightly solemn and he sighed. I am left with no other choice. This is my first time entering Dragon Whale Paradise, but there was a mishap. Shen clan discovered this place. Do you think they will let this precious land go and allow us to come and explore it again in the future? According to the nature of super forces, they will want to keep it all to themselves. Gu Qi said with certainty. Precisely. Miao Mingshen's eyes shined brightly. We will definitely be suppressed and forced to surrender by Shen clan once we go out. If we do not surrender, we will be annihilated. But now we have a choice besides submitting to Shen clan. You refer to Fang Yuan. I see, Lord has great foresight. I am too foolish. Gu Qi suddenly realized. As lone immortals who knew such a precious place like the Dragon Whale Paradise, Shen clan would definitely take action against them in the future. Ren Xiaoping alone was a strong enemy, not to mention the super force Shen clan. Miao Mingshen chose to be close to Fang Yuan in order to use his prestige as a shield and try to preserve the freedom of being a lone immortal. When Shen clan decides to take action against them, they would have to take Fang Yuan's feelings into account. In the worst case, he would give up his status as a lone immortal and become the subordinate of either Fang Yuan or Shen clan. This meant that he still had some room for planning and was not at a dead end. Unlike Ren Xiaoping and Tong Hua who had joined Shen clan long ago. Without external pressure, the super force would naturally take advantage of them. Could they refuse to hand over the immortal materials when Shen Songsheng asked them to do so? Did they dare to refuse? By the time the group of immortals reached Fang Yuan, he had already finished arranging Regret Gu. Within the sovereign immortal aperture, the hairy man Gu immortals were ready. They were high in morale as they prepared themselves to refine a large number of Gu. Fang Yuan's time path clone was organizing and planning the immortal material inventory, before fine-tuning and improving the immortal Gu recipes according to the immortal materials at hand. Fang Yuan needed to do it himself in his previous life, but with the whole of Langya sect helping him in this life, there was almost no need for him to intervene. Thus, he saved a great deal of time. With the fate battle getting closer and closer, this time was extremely valuable and precious. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1913, Flame Cloud Pillar. Chapter 1913 Flame Cloud Pillar. Inside the sovereign immortal aperture, the long-hair refinement path formation buzzed continuously. The fire within the formation raged towards the sky, heat waves were pushing everywhere. A rank 6 immortal Gu was bathed in fire and light, suspended in midair, its surface gradually melting like wax. Hold steady. Langya Land's spirit controlled the formation as he shouted, open the inventory, let out the immortal material. The hairy man Gu immortals controlling the other formation cores quickly opened the inventory doors. Thus, lumps of dog shit flew out of it slowly. These were all immortal materials. Some flickered with starlight, seemingly embedded with blue diamonds. They were the feces of star desolate hounds. Some had sharp spikes and looked dangerous, they were the feces of remnant heavenly dogs. And there were pure and clean ones that resembled white jade, they were the excrement of the jade statue white hound. Starred desolate hound, remnant heavenly dog, and jade statue white hound were ancient desolate beasts. The dog shit slowly flew into the fire, melting rapidly in the flames. Some turned into smoke, and some were reduced to liquid. The formation activated as 3 hairy man Gu immortals took action at once, cooperating to process these dog shit immortal materials. First, smoke spread out to surround the rank 6 immortal Gu, before liquid started to flow and gather. Lang Yalan's spirit took charge of the refinement, it was extremely stable during the late-stage processes. Right when they were about to succeed, when the final portion of immortal material fused into it, an accident occurred. The flame changed color as the incomplete rank 7 immortal Gu within broke apart rapidly. Lang Yalan's spirit was shocked, he quickly activated the formation. The power of regret Gu activated as the color of the flame within the formation returned to normal, not only that, the incomplete rank 7 immortal Gu was also restored to its former state. They only lost that last portion of immortal material. The Langya hairy men calmed their emotions and continued to refine Gu. After less than an hour, the flames inside the formation gradually dissipated, and rank 6 immortal Gu within was refined into rank 7. Rank 7, dog shit luck. The hairy man Gu immortals were very excited while Lang Yalan's spirit was also filled with emotions. Originally, they were proud of their refinement path ability. Now with the help of regret Gu, they were simply a dragon flying through the air, their advantage expanded out of control. At the same time, in Dragon Whale Paradise, Fang Yuan sat on the cloud with Feng Jiang and the rest, watching Miao Mingshan fly around the place. The ecology of the 2 sea areas had almost been adjusted completely. The final difficulty was that there was still a shattered space between the 2 seas. Miao Mingshan was trying to get rid of this space, by eliminating it, the 2 sea areas could finally fuse into one. Miao Mingshan was a space path Gu immortal, he was specialized in dealing with these shattered spaces. Fang Yuan and the rest were free to idle and watch. Oh. Immortal Gu dog shit luck has been advanced successfully. Progress is smooth. Fang Yuan sensed the commotion within the sovereign immortal aperture. While his main body was doing the merit missions, 3 immortal Gu had already advanced inside the sovereign immortal aperture. Their progress was really fast. When ordinary Gu immortals refine immortal Gu, they would take years to do so, they would be very nervous and careful with each attempt, the risks were huge. But Fang Yuan's situation was different. Lang Yalan's spirit, the hairy man Gu immortals, long hair refinement path formation, as well as the abundance of immortal materials, it allowed him to refine Gu with ease. The 3 immortal Gu that he had refined and advanced were from Luck Path, he had obtained them from dismantling Cooking Luck Pot. Luck Path was his focus now. The dog shit luck immortal Gu that he just advanced was Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's former vital Gu, it had an incredibly powerful supplementary effect. The only problem was that it was stuck at rank 6 and could not display its power. Now that it was rank 7, it could be used to some extent. Fang Yuan had rank 8 cultivation level now, his requirement for immortal Gu also increased, he needed higher ranked immortal Gu. Rank 6 was too low, while rank 7 was barely good enough, rank 8 suited him the most. But if Fang Yuan wanted to refine a rank 8 immortal Gu, he would not be able to afford it. The investment needed was too high, and the risks were huge, he was likely to gain nothing. After all, he could not ignore the outside world to cultivate, the external environment was very harsh, if he did not stop Heavenly Court from repairing Fate Gu, his situation would deteriorate even further. Currently, rank 7 immortal Gu were still barely usable to him. Furthermore, these rank 7 Luck Path immortal Gu that he refined could be used to construct Cooking Luck Pot. At rank 7, Cooking Luck Pot would be able to affect rank 8. Ha! Miao Mingshan suddenly shouted, breaking Fang Yuan's chain of thoughts. Miao Mingshan flashed with a blue halo, it spread out around him and soothed the shattered space, uniting it until the cracks were restored entirely. Lord has amazing methods. Feng Jiang and the rest praised. At this point, the large-sized mission was completed. Outstanding methods, yours are superior to mine. Fang Yuan did not stint on praise. He had space path immortal Gu and space path methods too, he could even use other paths to mimic the effects of space path. But compared to Miao Ming Shen, even if he could achieve the same effect, the cost would be higher. After all, experts focused on their own fields. Miao Ming Shen was a space path cultivator, while Fang Yuan barely researched about space path. He made little progress in this path. Miao Ming Shen quickly cupped his fists. Lord is too kind, I am not worthy of such praise. Fang Yuan replied with some praise again as everyone went back to the merit obelisk. In this mission, Fang Yuan gained the most benefits, followed by Miao Ming Shen. Fang Yuan's merit ranking rose to the top again. Miao Ming Shen and the rest were no longer surprised. They had seen Fang Yuan's ranking jump up and down like a monkey. He was often in the first and last place. Fang Yuan's gaze focused. At this point, the other Gu immortals were started to accumulate merit points. If Fang Yuan's ranking fell again, he would not be able to get to the first position so easily again. They continued accepting and completing missions. Fang Yuan's merit points soared continuously. Miao Ming Shen and the rest followed after him the entire time. Fang Yuan used the advantage of cultivating all paths to resolve problems, while Miao Ming Shen and the rest resolved the minor issues for him. This cooperation ensured that Fang Yuan remained at the top of the ranking. His status was getting more unmovable. Miao Ming Shen and the rest also benefited. They started to break away from Shen Clan's group, becoming the second group on the ranking list. The first group was naturally Fang Yuan alone. Shen Shang did not turn to Fang Yuan for help in the end. He got back on track by completing multiple mid-sized missions within the allotted time limit. His luck was not bad, he received 1 or 2 sound path-related missions. As for other missions, even though he cultivated sound path, he had many methods to mimic the effects of other paths. Shen Shang was a rank 8 after all, his cultivation level methods were beyond the rest. By the time Shen Shang's ranking rose to the middle, Fang Yuan's cooking luck pot was reassembled already. Rank 7 Cooking Luck Pot. A top-tier immortal Gu house that Giant Sun Immortal Venerable personally created, it had the power to affect rank 8. The first thing that Fang Yuan did was to inspect his own luck. Boom! As if he heard a roar that seemingly resounded in his ears, Fang Yuan looked up and saw a giant flame cloud pillar, burning brightly and rising up into the sky, as if it was trying to hold up heaven and earth. His luck was like a giant pillar, flames that were bright red like blood surged. On the surface of the giant pillar, the end of the many traces of the flame carried a touch of black color in it. My strength is rank 8, my battle strength rivals Duke Long, I also have countless immortal Gu houses, and killer moves, so my luck is grand and vast. Blood red flame means slaughter. The black color at the ends of the flame means a deadly situation. The deadly black chi has corrupted the surface of the pillar, it is trying to get in, this means that my death threat is coming from an external source. It must be Heavenly Court. Heavenly Court has yet to repair Fate Gu, once they succeed, the Black Death Chi will definitely expand by several times, it will eventually corrupt my entire luck pillar. Fang Yuan looked again, within the huge pillar, there were countless faint phantom images flickering continuously. At times, he saw a red lotus, a white crane, a beast phantom, or a lump of soil. Fang Yuan wanted to investigate deeper but he saw that his vision turned blur. Immediately, his body shook and his throat felt wet, he almost spit out blood uncontrollably. Fang Yuan rapidly healed himself and looked above him, he saw that cooking luck pot was floating quietly, there was a vast amount of luck inside while a crack had formed on the surface of the pot, luck was leaking towards the outside. Fang Yuan smiled bitterly to himself internally. His luck was too strong, even though this was rank 7 cooking luck pot, he could only barely see his luck. After he looked at it for a long time, he would suffer backlash and cooking luck pot would also be damaged. The newly created cooking luck pot needed to be fixed now. The crack was huge, the damage was severe, if left unattended, the crack would get larger and larger, he had to fix it immediately. After checking his luck, Fang Yuan was both happy and worried. He was happy that his luck was good. This was not strange, he had immense foundation, as well as methods in luck path. The worry was that his hidden threat had started to appear. If he did not stop Fate Gu from recovering, Fang Yuan's crisis would become more dangerous. And because the fire pillar was burning intensely, it also meant that he could not last too long. These types of burning luck often meant that the Gu immortal was unrivaled in a short period of time, but it could not last long. After the pillar stops burning, his luck would fall into a period of weakness. But that was in the future. Fang Yuan made some deductions. His luck would be maintained at this level at least until Central Continent's Fate Gu battle. It could even be improved further. Fang Yuan continued to receive missions, while the refinement path Gu immortals within the sovereign immortal aperture also started to advance strength path immortal Gu. Missions to eliminate the black fire started to appear on the merit obelisk. After Shen Shang escaped from regret crying sea, he was still in a state of madness. He unconsciously damaged the surroundings of the places he went to. Fang Yuan was very interested in this odd black fire and immediately started to investigate it. But he made no progress. The black fire was very stubborn. Even though it was a small lump, it could transform countless times when attacked. It could last for a long time. As missions to clear the black fire appeared, Fang Yuan, Shen Shang, and the rest started to work together to complete them. Did you notice, this type of mission is getting rarer? On this day, Shen Shang talked to Fang Yuan while dealing with the black fire. Perhaps your ancestor Shen Shang is about to regain his senses. With the location of these missions, we should be able to deduce his whereabouts. Fang Yuan analyzed. Indeed. Shen Shang had an expectant expression. Right at this time, a rank 8 Gu immortal flew towards them in the sky. Who else could it be but Shen Shang? Ancestor, this is great, you finally regained your senses. I have already negotiated with Fang Yuan, we will work together. Shen Shang was overjoyed, he quickly went over. Shen Shang flew over and nodded towards Fang Yuan. He had a haggard expression. He frowned deeply as he said some shocking things. The situation is quite troublesome, I have a huge problem. Before I resolve it, I need to be sealed again. Fang Yuan, you are proficient in formation path, I would like you to set up a formation to seal me if necessary. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1914, Supermission. Chapter 1914 Supermission. In the eyes of super forces, there was no such thing as eternal friend or enemy in the world. This is the way of survival of super forces. If this was not followed, super forces would not last for a long time. Naturally, Shen Clan was not such a force, as it had existed even before the era of Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable, and had grown and flourished during Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable's time, surviving to this day. As an old generation member of Shen Shang was not opposed to Shen Clan and Fang Yuan joining forces, he even felt joyful about it. This was because none of the Shen Clan members here were a formation path Gu immortal. If Shen Shang wanted to use a formation to seal himself, he would naturally have to use Fang Yuan's method. Hearing Shen Shang's words, Shen Shang had a weird expression. He had gone to great lengths to save his ancestor, but he did not expect that his ancestor would now instead ask to be sealed by a formation again. However, the reason for this was completely understood by Shen Shang. He was now silent as he looked at Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan's face turned a little grim. Shen Shang, although your clan has joined forces with me, the immortal Gu from the underwater formation already belongs to me. Now you are asking me to use these immortal Gu and create an immortal formation to seal you. This is quite hard for me to accept. Shen Shang quickly added, we can negotiate this Fang Yuan. We can even trade immortal Gu. At this point, seeing that Shen Shang had regained his senses, he did not want to give up. Fang Yuan shook his head slowly, he had a serious expression. Shen Shang, did you forget about the contents of our missions earlier? The mission states that we need to eliminate the demonic immortal within the formation, that is Shen Shang. What does that mean? Fang Yuan paused before continuing. It means that the merit obelisk does not think that Shen Shang will recover, it has decided that his problem is too severe to treat. Even if I create the formation, it will not help him. Shen Shang's expression changed, he wanted to speak but Shen Shang stopped him. Shen Shang smiled towards Fang Yuan, no need to have such concerns. I am not asking you to contribute your immortal Gu, the Gu worms we will use for the formation are all mine. Look. Saying so, he took out an immortal Gu from his immortal aperture. The immortal Gu was like a silkworm, pale yellow in color, curled up in a ball and not stretched, making it even more exquisite. Shen Shang may have already explained my situation to you. Shen Shang said to Fang Yuan, I'm most proficient in healing, and this is the human path immortal Gu I created back then, heal injury. Using this as the core, I later developed a human path killer move called saving dead healing injuries. If the difficulty isn't too high, I can even revive a dead person on the spot. Fang Yuan looked at the Gu worm in front of him, he felt a little amazed. This was a pure human path immortal Gu, the shocking thing was that this was a genuine rank 8 immortal Gu. Rank 8 human path immortal Gu. Seeing that the immortals were silent, Shen Shang smiled and said again, have you found that human path methods are the most effective in dealing with the black fire? Shen Shang shook his head, not yet, but we know that healing killer moves will take effect if we use them on the black fire. But whether we use offensive or healing killer moves on the black fire, there is no difference. Shen Shang nodded, watch. Saying so, a wave of aura burst out of his body. Watching him prepare a killer move, the surrounding Gu immortals quickly retreated with deep alertness. After Shen Shang regained his senses, he had no intention of harming anyone, he slowly stretched out his hand, aiming at the black fire in the distance. His palm suddenly burst out with a stream of bright yellow light. The light stream surged and spiraled forward, it was not fast, but eventually shot into the black fire. The black fire only endured the yellow light for a moment before quickly dissipating. Shen Shang stopped his killer move and said to the group of immortals, as you have just seen, this is my killer move, saving dead healing injuries. It's true that human path killer moves are quite effective against the black fire. Seeing the truth, Fang Yuan immediately nodded his head, acknowledging Shen Shang's statement. They are indeed. Shen Shang rejoiced, the previous underwater formation was an earth path immortal formation, it was difficult to resolve the problem on Ancestor. But if you use our ancestors' human path immortal Gu, there will be greater hope. Fang Yuan, however, did not agree just yet, he gazed at Shen Shang, you are a human path quasi-supreme grandmaster. Astonishment flashed in Shen Shang's eyes as he nodded, that is correct. I didn't expect that you are also proficient in human path. Different professions were different worlds, this was the same for paths. Since Fang Yuan could estimate Shen Shang's human path attainment level, it meant that he also had some level of attainment in it. All of the immortals turned their gazes towards Fang Yuan while feeling surprised, they sighed to themselves, this great demon renowned in the world was truly unfathomable. Fang Yuan asked, do you have the formation chart? Shen Shang showed a helpless smile, I have a formation chart but it is incomplete, I seem to have created it myself, but I can't remember the entire thing. What do you mean? Shen Shang tensed up. Shen Shang sighed deeply, I've lost my memory. Every time I fall into madness, a part of the memories I grasp will disappear. This is why I need to solve the problem in me as soon as possible, if it's too late, I'm afraid I won't even know who I am anymore. Fang Yuan smiled and said, Shen Shang, you're lucky to have met me. Shen Shang nodded his head and agreed, this is indeed my good luck. It is very difficult to set up human path formation that meets my requirements, there are many conditions to do so. Firstly, you need the human path immortal Gu, secondly, you need to deduce and modify the formation chart, and finally, you need to set up the formation. Setting up the formation requires formation path attainment, deducing and modifying the formation chart requires wisdom path attainment, and because it is a human path immortal formation, it also requires human path attainment. Any other Gu immortal who specializes in formation path, even with rank 8 cultivation, would not be able to satisfy my requirements. But you, Fang Yuan, meet all three of these conditions. So now, I really have to rely on you. Please do help me out. Fang Yuan, whatever reward you need, feel free to ask, my Shen clan will definitely do our best to satisfy you. Shen Shang made a solemn commitment. Fang Yuan nodded. As soon as Shen Shang said his request to set up the immortal formation, he realized that this was a good opportunity. Not only would he be able to obtain a generous amount of immortal materials from Shen Clan by just setting up the formation. What he cared more about was Shen Clan, Shen Shang, and Shen Shang. By cooperating with Shen Clan, he could influence the Eastern Zi Gu immortal world even more deeply and affect the situation of the entire world. Although Fang Yuan's human path attainment level was already Grandmaster, he still had no clue on how to deal with those human path killer moves of Heavenly Court. It would be a completely different story if Shen Shang were to deal with them. Heavenly Court was too powerful and had countless years of accumulation. Fang Yuan was not able to resist them alone, he needed the help of others to work together and fight against this giant. Fang Yuan pondered for a moment and said his conditions. To the surprise of Shen Shang and Shen Shang, the conditions Fang Yuan proposed were very relaxed and not harsh at all. Fang Yuan did not have much demand for immortal materials, nor did he ask for immortal Gu. The only condition that had to be fulfilled was the requirement that Shen Shang and Shen Shang must take action and become the enemy of Heavenly Court to stop it from repairing Fate Gu. But in fact, there was no need for Fang Yuan to bring it up. It was already the consensus of all the super forces in the world that they had to prevent the successful restoration of Fate Gu. Many of the ambitious people in the world were even more worried about Fate Gu than Fang Yuan. After all, none of them were otherworldly demons. Once Heavenly Court succeeds in their plan, their status and position would be unshakable. A few days later, a brand new formation was built at the bottom of the sea. Shen Shang entered the formation, with the main formation core controlled by Shen Shang and assisted by Fang Yuan. The formation was slowly activated as a stream of profound white light formed chains that tied Shen Shang like a mummy. Shen Shang was silent, sitting in a cross-legged position. Soon his entire body was enveloped in a layer of pale white light mist. A moment later, the formation came to a halt. Fang Yuan, Shen Shang and the others found nothing. They could not detect a single bit of black fire within Shen Shang's body at all. Shen Shang sighed, I have searched countless times before, the only time this black fire will appear is when I go mad again. Fang Yuan's eyes shimmered uncertainly, are you sure that you can't remember all the things about the black fire? Shen Shang just shook his head. Shen Shang sighed, in that case, we will have to wait. This mission will be placed here for now. I will send a person specifically to stay behind to guard the formation. This arrangement was very reasonable. The Gu immortals were restricted in their range of movement in Dragon Whale Paradise and could not travel in and out of places as they wished. Using the merit obelisk's teleportation ability, as well as the group title, they were able to communicate instantly, and if Shen Shang went mad, they would quickly gather together. Those arranged within the formation were bound to be Shen Clan's members. Sometimes it was even Shen Shang himself who went to stay guard. With this burden, Shen Clan was not Fang Yuan's match at all in the competition for the merit board ranking. Time continued to pass day by day. Fang Yuan's merit points rose from thousands to tens of thousands, and then from tens of thousands to even higher. In the process, he also exchanged for titles from time to time. It was just that the secrets behind many titles were not clear to him either. In the previous life, Miao Mingshen's group had not explored it to this extent yet, so Fang Yuan could only guess and make deductions. Fortunately, even if his deductions were wrong, the exchanged titles were all of some use. Having so many merit points, Fang Yuan did not exchange for any immortal Gu. He did not lack any immortal Gu, what he lacked were some rare immortal materials. There were instances where Fang Yuan spent his merit points to exchange for immortal materials from the merit obelisk that would help the hairy man Gu immortal's refinement. Fang Yuan had a large amount of immortal materials, but there were still some missing among the rarer ones. The merit obelisk made up for the last gap in resources. By the time Fang Yuan made a new breakthrough, the first supermission appeared. Get rid of the black fire on the heavenly spine. Fang Yuan was slightly startled. Why is there still black fire that hasn't been eliminated? Some time before, missions regarding the black fire had appeared one after another. The immortals completed these missions to clean up Shen Shang's mess. Could it be that this isn't left behind by Shen Shang? There was a sudden flash of realization in Fang Yuan's mind. It was very simple to verify this conjecture. With the aid of the merit obelisk, Fang Yuan directly teleported to the mission location. At the next moment, he was at the top of the clouds, the highest point in the sky. There was no wind and the sun was warm. This is... Fang Yuan's pupils shrank as he looked up to see countless lumps of black fire burning silently. The scale of the black fire was extremely large, as if this was a field of dark clouds in a rainstorm. The total amount of black fire that Fang Yuan and the immortals had previously gone to great lengths to annihilate was a minute fraction of the black fire in front of him now. The scale of this black fire is appalling. It cannot have come from Shen Shang. In that case, there was already a hidden black fire problem in Dragon Whale Paradise from the start. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1915, Shen Shang, Des Inheritance. Chapter 1915, Shen Shang, Des Inheritance. The black fire was not burning in the air, it was attached to giant bones. The giant bones were milky white and had a sacred aura. The giant bones had a main trunk that extended from east to west. It could pierce through heaven and earth. It was like a dragon of the 9 heavens that stretched beyond Fang Yuan's vision. On both sides of the bone, there were countless neatly arranged branching giant bones that extended outwards, as if they were giant ivory tusks. The entire skeleton was like the spine and ribs of a giant, single-handedly holding up the sky. Heavenly spine. Fang Yuan murmured. The sight before him was imposing. He was underneath the giant bones, being as small as a mosquito. These bones were like gnarled trees, and the black fire gathered like clouds, covering most of the bones. After evaluating it, Fang Yuan figured out a few details. This heavenly spine is actually a rank 9 bone path immortal material. That alone was incredible. The heavenly spine should not be a human bone, which Gu immortal had such a massive body. Since it was not a human bone, it was a beast bone. But how could there be such a fierce beast that could reach the level of rank 9? It was impossible. Rank 9 was the level of a venerable. Historically, they only appeared in the human race. Throughout history, there were only 10 of them, while the rest of the races had rank 8 existences at most. There were also immemorial desolate beasts or immemorial desolate plants as well. Was it possible that there were rank 9 desolate beasts or plants in this world? Only such an existence would leave behind such a grade of immortal material after death. Other than that, is it something that Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable created personally? Fang Yuan was filled with questions. This was very unlikely. Because Fang Yuan had already seen through the function of the heavenly spine, its one and only use was to reinforce this Dragon Whale Paradise. If Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable wanted to reinforce this paradise, he could have used Earth Path methods, or even Sound Path methods. These were his expertise. Why would he bother to choose Bone Path? Also, why did Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable set it up like this, to specifically reinforce Dragon Whale Paradise? It's as if Dragon Whale Paradise is very unsafe and could collapse at any moment. But the truth is, the blue dragon whale is a legendary immemorial desolate beast. Its strength is near the pinnacle of the world. There are simply very few existences that can threaten it. If something can threaten its life, would there be a point in reinforcing Dragon Whale Paradise? The biggest question is, why is there such a huge black fire on the back of the heavenly spine? This was clearly not caused by Shen Shang. If Shen Shang was able to leak black fire of this scale, how could he still come back alive and volunteer to seal himself? What kind of connection is there between the black fire here and the black fire on Shen Shang's body? Fang Yuan kept deducing, and in the process, he saw a branching rib completely melt away in the black fire. The black fire was fiercely corroding and constantly destroying the heavenly spine. What would happen if the heavenly spine is completely destroyed? Fang Yuan did not know, but it was definitely not something good. He tried his hand as he manipulated Myriad Year Flying Warship, activating Daybreak Flying Sword to attack the black fire. As he expected, the black fire was like a sea. His attack was like throwing stones into the sea, unable to create any difference. Fang Yuan tried for a while, but he had no choice but to stop. Even a character like him felt overwhelmed at the moment. This was the difficulty of a supermission. After pondering for a bit, Fang Yuan left the place, returned to the starting island. He went over to the underwater formation. Shen Shang was still conscious. Fang Yuan informed him of the situation at the heavenly spine. "Do you have any impressions of this place?" Fang Yuan inquired. Shen Shang shook his head in distress. "No recollection of that at all. But it definitely has a connection with my black fire. If I can figure out the mystery of the black fire, I might be able to gain insight on the plan of Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable back then, as well as the deepest secrets of Dragon Whale Paradise." At this point, Shen Shang paused. "I want to see it for myself, is that okay?" "Of course." Fang Yuan responded immediately. Since he had told Shen Shang about this situation, he was not going to hide it. To attempt to complete a supermission, relying on him alone seemed insufficient. He would have to gather the strength of all the Gu immortals. Soon, the group of immortals gathered together as one and arrived at the heavenly spine. Seeing the sea of black fire clouds that filled the sky, the group of immortals had a change of expression as they marveled at it. The group of immortals tried to exterminate the black fire, but the progress was extremely slight. It seemed that the larger the black fire was, the more difficult it was to eradicate it. Among the immortals, only Shen Shang's human path methods were sufficiently effective, the others were all outmatched by him. After the plan to remove the black fire had lasted for several days, Hua Dai was the first to give up. It was not that she could not take it mentally, but the immortal essence expenditure was too high. "This mission is too hard, I suggest we give up." Miao Mingshan secretly approached Fang Yuan and discussed with him in private. Even without him having to say anything, Fang Yuan had already wanted to give up. By now, the immortals had done their best but only managed to eliminate a small area of the black fire. And such a scale was not even 1/1000th of the entire black fire. If I were to truly utilize my rank 8 battle strength, this would certainly be much more efficient, but the result would still be too poor. Instead, I might as well complete large-sized missions one after another. After a few times, I'll be able to accumulate a large amount of merit points. I'm afraid only a venerable will be able to handle a super mission like this with ease. Fang Yuan decided to give up. Shen Shang and Shen Shang expressed their understanding. But they were unwilling to give up. They only let the other Shen clan Gu immortals follow him. Shen Shang said to Fang Yuan, "I still want to explore it further. I will move along the main spine and see if I can find any clue or answer." Fang Yuan looked at him deeply, nodding and leaving directly. Soon, only Shen Shang and Shen Shang were left here at the heavenly spine. "Take a walk with me." Shen Shang sighed. Shen Shang followed and took the initiative to ask, "Ancestor, you purposely diverted everyone away, did you recall something?" Shen Shang shook his head, "I am planning to hand over my human path inheritance to you." Shen Shang was startled. He had an ominous feeling from Shen Shang's tone as he quickly said, "Ancestor, you need not be in such a hurry. I believe that there will always be a way to resolve the problem in you." Shen Shang smiled slightly, "I have not given up hope, but I have to make considerations for our clan. Leaving behind my human path inheritance for the benefit of our clan, it can be considered as me repaying the debt I once owed the clan." Shen Shang was silent. Shen Shang continued, "At the underwater formation, I was not able to pass you my inheritance. After all, it was a formation set up by Fang Yuan himself. But here, it should be safe. I won't pass my human path immortal Gu to you, because I still need to use them. What I'm passing on to you is my experience in cultivation, and the various killer moves and immortal Gu recipes I've created." Shen Shang said solemnly, "I will definitely not fail to live up to ancestors' good intentions." Shen Shang smiled bitterly, "My memory is fragmented, what I remember is limited. Let's start from the very beginning. I used to major in sound path, but then in an accident, I refined heal injury immortal Gu, from which I saw that hope of human path. In order to convert to human path, I did many things in secret, all of which were against the rules of the righteous path. Our clan defended me and helped to cover up these incidents, but in the end, I couldn't hide it from Lord Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable. When Lord Paradise Earth found me, I was no match for him, I couldn't even take a single blow from him. But Lord Paradise Earth didn't kill me, nor did he imprison me, but instead, because I had spent many years saving lives and helping the injured, he gave me a chance to redeem myself. And he promised me that if I could seize this opportunity, I might even be able to achieve my goal and successfully convert to cultivating human path. And so I came here, I cultivated bitterly in the underwater formation that Lord Paradise Earth had set up. The memories of my non-stop cultivation are completely blurred, I only remember that in the process, I received the help of the undersea formation and repeatedly broke through, progressing steadily. With Heal Injury Immortal Gu as the foundation, I developed and created saving dead healing injuries, light injuries, heavy injuries, fatal injuries, sensory injuries, 7 laborious injuries, and other killer moves. Finally, one day, I created the killer move Countless Injury Marks. From this killer move, I deduced the Immortal Gu recipe of injury mark Immortal Gu. I refined it and replaced my own Vital Gu. With this Immortal Gu, any attacks that cause damage to me will be converted into the respective injury marks. The more injury marks I have, the more I can increase the power of Mutual Injury's killer move. In the battle earlier, Fang Yuan was forced to retreat by me because I used the killer move Mutual Injuries to cause him to be covered in injury marks. Remember that injury mark Immortal Gu is the core of my human path inheritance, while Mutual Injuries is my main offensive method. Shen Shang's heart shook as he listened. The true inheritance of human path created by Shen Shang was so profound that it shook him physically and mentally. Ancestor, this true inheritance that you started has great future prospects, perhaps it might be able to create an entirely new subpath branching from human path. Shen Shang praised heartily. Ha ha ha. Shen Shang laughed proudly as he patted Shen Shang's shoulder. I'm afraid that I won't be able to. The inheritance is left to you. If you are interested in the future, you can switch to human path. If you have no intention of doing so, just choose a suitable successor. Southern Border. Virtue Paradise. A female immortal dressed in a purple silk robe, ornate and mysterious, came down the mountain step by step. Her skin was white as snow and her black hair hung down to her waist, her eyes were like the deep pool, with a sense of sadness shrouding her face. It was Heavenly Court's leader, the person who had Star Constellation Chessboard, the #1 Wisdom Path great expert in the current world, Fairy Zi Wei. At the moment, however, Fairy Zi Wei was covered in a thin layer of sweat and looked haggard, but her eyes were shining and her spirit was high. At the foot of the mountain, Lu Wei Yin had been waiting for a long time. Lady Zi Wei, it seems you've reached your goal in this journey. Fairy Zi Wei smiled, this climb has benefited me a lot. I have already obtained Benevolence Gu, thank you for your generosity. Lu Wei Yin also smiled, Lady Zi Wei, it is not to help you, this is for the sake of the world, to maintain the peace of the 5 regions. But alas, in the current world, demonic immortals are rising. Not to mention Fang Yuan, recently in Western Desert, a Blood Path rank 8 great expert has actually appeared, purposely finding trouble with super forces and repeatedly attacking various resource points. They are acting extremely arrogantly, and the methods are extraordinarily terrifying. The chaos is coming, I only hope that this virtue paradise will become an actual paradise safe from the chaos of the world. Fairy Zi Wei sighed, I understand what you mean. In the future, there will be generous rewards for you after the changes in the 5 regions. Farewell. Goodbye. Lu Wei Yin moved aside and gave way to her departure. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1916, Ultimate Mission. 1916 Ultimate Mission. Dragon Whale Paradise. At the Merit Obelisk, Fang Yuan and Shen Shang stood as they looked at the merit board together. The Supermission regarding the Black Fire was still around, but tomorrow was the final day of the 300 days they could stay here. Fang Yuan's merit point stood at the top of the board, he had a huge amount. After he found out about the difficulty of the Black Fire mission, he chose only large and mid-sized missions to earn his merit points. Miao Ming Shen and others worked alongside him and gained an abundant amount of points as well. After realizing the difficulty of the supermission, Shen Shang and others wisely learned from Fang Yuan. Now their merit points had also accumulated to a considerable amount. 300 days have passed by, it feels like we just arrived here yesterday. Shen Shang smiled bitterly. This was a genuine land of treasures. By completing various missions, the Gu immortals would be able to directly obtain immortal Gu recipes, and various killer moves. Even a rank 8 Gu immortal like Shen Shang was attracted to this place and did not want to leave. But there was no way, once the time limit was up, they would be kicked out of Dragon Whale Paradise. It's a pity that this time, we did not explore all the secrets of Dragon Whale Paradise. Fang Yuan sighed with pity. There were many more strange things about this Dragon Whale Paradise. The black fire was one of them. Where did this black fire come from? How could it transform to so many different forms? Why could its path not be discerned? And why were human path methods so effective against it? Apart from the black fire, where did the heavenly spine left behind by Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable originate? What was the true intent of Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable? What agreement did Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable and Shen Shang make back then? Shen Shang cultivated human path in the underwater formation, yet he was somehow tainted by the troublesome black fire. Also, apart from Shen Shang alone, Fang Yuan did not see any other Gu immortals. Were there no Gu immortals in Dragon Whale Paradise in the first place? And where did the immortal Gu in the merit obelisk come from? If they were all naturally produced, the number was simply too large. After a moment of silence, Shen Shang said, "We'll have to leave these secrets for the future when we can explore them again. It's good that we have all exchanged for that title already, so once the blue dragon whale appears in the future, we will be able to sense it and explore it again." Fang Yuan nodded his head. This was indeed a good discovery. Just as he had deduced before, the reason why Miao Ming-shen was able to discover the exact location of the blue dragon whale was because of a title. But it was unknown who had taken this title and quietly transferred it to him. Of all the titles provided by the merit obelisk, there were very few types of titles that could be transferred. There was also another discovery about titles. After getting a certain title, the Gu immortal could teleport to any location within 100,000 li radius when they leave Dragon Whale Paradise. This was something that Fang Yuan had lied to Miao Ming-shen's group before, but it existed in reality. Right at this time, the words on the merit obelisk transformed suddenly. Be they small-sized missions, mid-sized missions, or large-sized missions, even super missions were gone, only one ultimate mission was left. Ultimate mission: leave with the blue dragon whale and successfully return. This is... Shen Shang gasped. Fang Yuan frowned. This means that above super missions, there are ultimate missions? This description is so vague, I'm afraid it is much harder than getting rid of the black fire. At this time, there was a new transformation on the merit obelisk. Shen Shang stared with wide eyes as he read it. The mission does not have a time limit. After receiving it, one can stay in the paradise indefinitely. After completing the ultimate mission, one will obtain the qualifications to become the merit obelisk lord and retain their merit points. Fang Yuan's eyes shined with bright light. He thought to himself, so Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable made his arrangements already to choose the merit obelisk lord. According to his arrangements, I will be able to become the owner of this rank 8 immortal Gu house. It is a pity, a real pity. Fang Yuan felt some regret. He had already uncovered a correct method to obtain the merit obelisk, but his strength was limited. He could not even complete the super mission, let alone the ultimate mission. The ultimate mission was obviously extremely difficult. Even a rank 8 Gu immortal would have little hope. This was easy to deduce. The Gu immortals that had come to Dragon Whale Paradise were far more than just Fang Yuan's group. When the previous groups of people came here, some might have chosen to accept this ultimate mission, but the merit obelisk was still in an unknown state. This meant that no one had ever succeeded. There was another reason why Fang Yuan did not intend to accept the mission. It was written on the merit obelisk that the time limit for this mission was indefinite. If it took too long and he waited until he completed the mission before leaving, only to find that Heavenly Court had already completely repaired Fate Gu, then what was the point of all this? Sigh. Shen Shang let out a breath of air. He also regained his logic, recognizing the risks involved. He was no longer dreaming about it. Fang Yuan stretched out his arm and pointed at the mission on the merit obelisk, analyzing it. Brother Shen, this ultimate mission has given us some extra information. After choosing this mission, the Gu immortals' personal merit points will be preserved. This means that those who haven't accepted it will have all of their remaining merit points cleared as soon as they leave Dragon Whale Paradise. Shen Shang nodded repeatedly, his heart clenched. I'm afraid that's it. When we first came here, the merit ranking list was empty. As such, the Gu immortals would have to spend as much of their accumulated merit points as possible. But exactly how they would spend it would require some consideration on the part of the Gu immortals themselves. The next day, somewhere in Eastern Sea, 3 white lights flashed. The 3 immortals Fang Yuan, Shen Shang, and Shen Shang appeared. All the Gu immortals gave up on the ultimate mission and chose to leave. However, Miao Mingshen's group did not leave with Fang Yuan. They still had reservations towards him. Ren Xiaoping and Tong Hua, on the other hand, left along with the rest of Shen Clan's Gu immortals. After this, these 2 Eastern Sea lone immortals were considered to be completely on board and tied to Shen Clan's ship. Fang Yuan turned around and looked back, only to see the sky was empty, the sea was calm, there was nothing behind him. He did not want to give up on this, so he, along with Shen Shang and Shen Shang, kept scouting the surroundings, but found nothing after all. The 3 of us deliberately chose the location of the blue dragon whale, but where is the blue dragon whale now? We can stop looking for it. This is the method of Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable. Even though the scene in front of us is very realistic, it might just be an illusion for all we know. Come to speak of it, we have not seen the true appearance of the blue dragon whale until now. The 3 immortals sighed. There were really quite many secrets involving the blue dragon whale. The blue dragon whale was a legendary immemorial beast that was enlightened by Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable. It gained an immortal aperture and could cultivate. It should have intelligence rivaling ordinary people. But the entire time the Gu immortals explored the paradise, they had never seen the blue dragon whale initiate contact with them. The traces of the blue dragon whale were also very mysterious. When did it appear, how did it disappear, and where did it go in the process? Nobody knew. The 3 Gu immortals here were unable to find out the truth even after they had personally explored Dragon Whale Paradise. Fang Yuan sighed internally. His original plan was to obtain both the blue dragon whale and the merit obelisk. But the truth was, he had simply been dreaming. This was a meticulous arrangement set up by Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable. It had some sort of mysterious purpose. It was like the crazed demon cave in Northern Plains, which was created by limitless demon Venerable himself and was also a huge arrangement. Fang Yuan could only stop at the 8th level and could not enter the most important core, the 9th level. Wait, crazed demon cave, crazed demon. Fang Yuan suddenly had a thought. Limitless demon Venerable created crazed demon cave that had demonic sounds that would cause living beings to go insane. Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable also had a black fire in the Dragon Whale Paradise that could cause insanity. Was there some sort of relationship? Thinking about it, Dragon Whale Paradise had many insane living beings. For example, the Tiger King Salamander that I killed. Fang Yuan pondered. These living beings were beyond saving. Fang Yuan could not find out the reason, he could only kill them. Other than the absence of black fire, they had nearly the same problem as Shen Shang. From this point, it showed how powerful Shen Shang was. This person, even with black fire on him, had only gone insane for some time. He relied on his immense human path foundation and Dao marks to suppress it and regain his clarity. Even Fang Yuan was not confident in achieving this. He knew that even though he had many Dao marks, they were not of human path. Currently speaking, Shen Shang is likely the number 1 person in the 5 regions when it comes to human path. Even that old man Jing Yuan in Heavenly Court cannot compare to him. Thinking of this, Fang Yuan inevitably considered the fact that the fate battle was not far away. It was likely that Shen Shang could cause some trouble to Heavenly Court in battle. The 3 immortals could not detect the blue dragon whale and decided to bid each other farewell. They all had significant gains from their expedition to the Dragon Whale Paradise. But the one who gained the most was undoubtedly Fang Yuan. While alone, Fang Yuan transformed back into the appearance of Qi-Si ancestor and returned to Qi-Si under concealment. The large formation in the depths of Qi-Si was still in operation, and in the formation, he met Wu Shuai, who was guarding the place. Wu Shuai had gone to southern border in order to trade dream realms with Qi clan. Qi Chuyu saw the opportunity and raised the price. Wu Shuai thought of the big picture and did not want to accept Qi Chuyu's price. He planned to settle the score after everything was over. But to think that Wu Yong found out about the loss of the dream realms. He became enraged. He went to Qi Chuyu for a discussion. Qi Chuyu naturally denied all accusations. He refused to admit his involvement. But after this warning, Qi Chuyu had to stop and temporarily end the dream realm transactions. Wu Shuai had no choice but to return to Eastern Sea. Fang Yuan met with Wu Shuai and learned about the current situation of the world. It was quite bad. In southern border, Wu Yong's influence was growing. Because of the mysterious disappearance of the dream realms, Qi Chuyu faced much suspicion. Wu Yong used this chance to consolidate his influence over the entire Southern Alliance. In Western Desert, however, the clone Fong Di Chong, who Fang Yuan was placing much hopes on, was currently facing a tough predicament. After he allied with several super forces to repel Heavenly Court, a blood path great expert appeared in Western Desert. He caused chaos everywhere. He seemed to hate super forces. Fang clan became one of his victims. Other than this, an immemorial desolate beast started to cause havoc in Fang clan's Icefire Desert. This immemorial desolate beast was very crafty. Fang clan failed many attempts to capture or kill it. As for profound literature Grotto Heaven, Li Xiaobai was having smooth progress. In Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven, Zhan Budu was facing a huge problem. His life was at risk. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1917, I Am Your Father. 1917 I Am Your Father. Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven. The sky could not be seen for the last few months. The entire Grotto Heaven was covered in black poisonous smoke. The poisonous smoke covered the entire sky and rumbled continuously, occasionally turned into dragon shapes that rampaged and caused destruction to the world. Within Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven, there were anguished cries. The future was bleak. Star Collection City was the largest city in Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven. It was also now the largest gathering spot of all of humanity here. The walls of Star Collection City towered high. There were many towers within the city. Zhan Budu was standing on the highest tower, looking up at the rumbling poisonous smoke in the sky. He looked exhausted and was bruised all over. Behind him, a female beast warrior was healing his wounds. My main body has adjusted the speed of time flow in Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven to become too fast. It caused frequent tribulations to descend. In this Grotto Heaven, any calamity or tribulation will turn into a beast calamity. However, before the former beast calamity is annihilated, the new one will arrive. These beast calamities are spread all over the place, taking the attention of all the Gu immortals in the Grotto Heaven. After gradually accumulating, they all merged together and became the monsters they are today. Sigh, this time, my main body has made a mistake. Zhan Budu's brows were locked in worry. The combat beast warrior who was treating his wounds advised, "Little Du, you'd better rest. You just fought a fierce battle for 3 consecutive days and nights without sleep. If this continues, no matter how tough your body is, you won't be able to survive." Zhan Budu sighed deeply. I am now the strongest combat beast warrior here. I must fight to the best of my ability. If I am on the battlefield, fewer people will be sacrificed. Little Du, you've done well enough. If you hadn't sensed something was wrong and informed everyone beforehand, we would not have had the major cities gather their civilians in advance. In that case, there would definitely be deaths and injuries. You are truly worthy of being our savior. You saved the lives of hundreds of thousands of people. The combat beast warrior said. Even though she was a senior combat beast warrior, she felt deep appreciation and admiration towards this junior Zhan Budu. Zhan Budu had managed to gain the recognition of everyone in this Grotto Heaven during this period. Not only was it because of his high battle strength, but more crucially, his love for civilians, his selfless sacrifice, and his repeated battles on the front lines. Right now, Jean Budu was a great hero, he was a role model and the idol of all the commoners. But in reality, Jean Budu was only trying his best to preserve his possessions. Whether it was him or Fang Yuan, they had already regarded Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven as their own property. Although Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven had preserved most of its vitality because of Jean Budu's timely warning, the things that had been lost were still enough for Jean Budu to feel distress. Here we go again. Jean Budu looked tense suddenly. The beast warriors around him also tensed up and looked up at the sky at once. Only to see that in the sky, poisonous smoke fiercely swirled and roared like a giant dragon made of poisonous smoke descended. The dragon's body was so huge that it stretched for 800 feet, and the dragon head was like a small mountain, ruthlessly crashing into Star Collection City on the ground. Once it hit, half of Star Collection City would be instantly destroyed, and after the poisonous smoke spread, more than 100,000 people would die. Of course, Jean Budu would not allow this to happen. With an eagle's cry, an arrow-tailed eagle flew out of his immortal aperture. Combat Beast Warrior Transformation. In an instant, he transformed into an eagle-headed person, fiercely flapped his wings as he flew high into the air. Swoosh swoosh swoosh. Jean Budu attacked madly, sending out countless wind blades that were extremely sharp and fierce like a storm. Hundreds and thousands of giant wind blades hit the dragon head, the poisonous smoke dragon head lasted for a moment before collapsing. It's Little Du. He helped us again. Worthy of Little Du. The combat beast warriors reacted one after another, expressing praises. The civilians located in various parts of Star Collection City, upon seeing this scene, shouted, "World Savior Jean Budu," and soon, such voices quickly spread. All over the city, commotions were rising, filling the entire Star Collection City with frenzied cheers. Jean Budu did not relax but looked up into the sky vigilantly, shouting, "Attention everyone, another wave of attack is coming." Poisonous smoke surged and more than a dozen poisonous smoke dragons suddenly appeared, rushing toward Star Collection City. The people's cheering came to an abrupt halt. The combat beast warriors were instantly pale as paper. In the past, the attack was at most 3 to 5 poisonous smoke dragons, but now the number had multiplied fivefold, and it was simply not something they could resist. Is this going to be the end of us? Damn it! I don't want to die. Just at the critical moment, the Star Snail Hall suddenly surged with a blinding starlight, and then a giant suddenly appeared and established itself on the battlefield. The people were overjoyed. Jean Budu also pretended to be extremely surprised, but in his mind he already knew, the old fellow is finally willing to take action. This was the current generation combat beast king, using the corpse of the Star Sea Snail to transform. He had the highest battle strength in Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven and was also the final trump card. When Fang Yuan had transformed into a bull-headed demon god, he had also fought with the combat beast king. The giant was clad in heavy armor and kept punching, fist shadows shot out violently, like meteors rushing into the sky. The meteors hit the poisonous smoke dragon heads with extraordinary effect. Several poisonous smoke dragon heads were destroyed on the spot. The momentum of the poisonous smoke dragon heads was ruthlessly stalled, which gave some crucial time for the other combat beast warriors. Next, the giant's feet stomped on the ground and its hands supported the sky. A hemispherical curtain of starlight rose up, enveloping the city. The poisonous smoke dragons were temporarily blocked out by the giant curtain of starlight. One by one the combat beast warriors were enveloped in a layer of blue light, floating out and engaging the poisonous smoke dragons fiercely in battle. The combat beast warriors were merely flesh and blood, they were quickly at a disadvantage. The poisonous smoke giant dragons kept on coming. No matter how many of them were blown up, there would be new poisonous smoke giant dragons produced. If this continues, I'm afraid that today will be the day Star Collection City gets destroyed. Realizing this, the combat beast king made up his mind at last. He called out loudly, his voice echoing through the battlefield, "The situation is urgent, Little Du, go and take the last inheritance. You are our final hope to save everyone today. This old fellow is finally willing to give me the last part of his inheritance." Jean Budu sneered in his mind. Currently, he had already obtained the Beast Calamity true inheritance in various important places, and only the last part was missing. He had been in Star Collection City for many days, but the current generation Combat Beast King had not mentioned anything about it. Jean Budu also had to temporarily pretend that he did not know the last part of the inheritance was in Star Collection City. Little Du, go, I'll be guarding this place. Quickly go, Little Du, it's up to you. We'll buy you time, even if it is the last moment of our lives, we'll do our duty. The Combat Beast Warriors urged. Undeniably, the Gu immortals in Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven were really different from the outside world of the 5 regions. They had the spirit to sacrifice and contribute their lives. Jean Budu flew to the underground of the Star Snail Hall and arrived at the last altar. The altar shined brightly, the Qilin heavenly spirit appeared all of a sudden. "Oh young man, you are qualified to inherit the entire Beast Calamity true inheritance. It's time to tell you the truth about the world." The voice of the Qilin heavenly spirit was like that of a young child, crisp and cute. After receiving the memories, Jean Budu showed a look of shock and disbelief. So our world is so small, the true way to use Gu worms is not by transformation. This is too unexpected. Heavenly Spirit, what do I do now? The Qilin heavenly spirit stood in front of Jean Budu as it lowered its head. "Master, I don't have any method now. Ever since the change in the tributary of the River of Time, the tribulations in the Grotto Heaven had been appearing non-stop. Among these tribulations, there is one myriad tribulation among them. I'm afraid I cannot escape this now. I will open the door now, Master, you need to escape quickly." The moment Jean Budu inherited the complete Beast Calamity true inheritance, the Qilin heavenly spirit acknowledged him as Master. Jean Budu sighed deeply and was about to open his mouth, but suddenly his expression changed drastically, revealing genuine surprise. "No need, my main body has already arrived." At the critical moment, Fang Yuan's main body finally arrived. Looking at the poisonous smoke everywhere, Fang Yuan also felt a headache. Jean Budu ordered the Qilin heavenly spirit to open the Grotto Heaven's entrance. Fang Yuan came in here with no obstruction. Because he was no longer an intruder, and because the Qilin heavenly spirit acknowledged a master, myriad beings' assimilation transformation was no longer taking effect on Fang Yuan's main body, he was able to come in personally. Thus, the combat beast warriors in the battlefield saw an unimaginable scene. A man was floating in mid-air, his aura as strong as the sea. The poisonous smoke dragon seemed to be stimulated by the mysterious visitor. Most of them turned towards Fang Yuan to kill him. "Who is he? Get away. Oh no, it's too late." The combat beast warriors roared in rage and despair as they watched Fang Yuan being heavily surrounded by the poisonous smoke dragons. At the moment the poisonous smoke dragons descended on him, Fang Yuan made his move. Rumble. In an instant, chi currents surged as wind and waves soared. The sky and earth changed color, all the poisonous smoke receded. Fang Yuan stood proudly in the sky, the poisonous smoke dragons around him dissipated, even the thick layer of poisonous smoke above his head was torn open to expose a huge hole. Bright light shined down through the round hole, causing Fang Yuan to be bathed in sunlight. The combat beast warriors opened their mouths one by one, extremely shocked. As soon as Fang Yuan made his move, he displayed such intense might in battle. Furthermore, he did not use any transformations at all, he had used such great battle strength just by himself. This scene caused the long-standing cultivation thought process of the combat beast warriors to crumble. For a moment, the crowd was at a loss. At this time, Fang Yuan slowly spoke, his voice clearly entering the ears of everyone present. "Little Du, where are you? Father is here." The group of immortals were surprised again. Jean Budu flew out, looking surprised and teary-eyed. "Father, you've finally come out of seclusion. Please save the world." At the next moment, the entire Star Collection City went into an uproar. It turned out that this mysterious man was actually Jean Budu's father. No wonder he was so powerful. This was a secluded expert. They were saved, they were definitely saved. Fang Yuan sighed and spoke in a tone of bitter loss. "I never expected such a disaster to occur this time when I stayed in closed cultivation. It's a pity that I was isolated from the outside world during my seclusion. If I had known earlier, I would never have let these poisonous smoke dragons wreak havoc for so long. After saying that, Fang Yuan struck again and quickly dispersed the entire area of poisonous smoke. However, there was too much poisonous smoke, spreading throughout the grotto heaven. Soon the poisonous smoke was replenished through the smoke at other areas. Father, the situation is now under control, let's go down and take a rest first. Jean Budu said. Okay. Fang Yuan nodded. Thus, the two of them slowly flew into Star Collection City amidst countless gazes of adoration, longing, awe, and curiosity. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1918, Crucial Person. 1918 Crucial Person. Heavenly Court. Star Constellation chessboard was half a foot off the ground, slowly rotating between Fairy Zi Wei and Feng Jin Huang, blossoming with brilliant starlight. The specks of starlight were so dazzling that they resembled blue fireflies, lightly jumping, sometimes swirling around the two, sometimes burrowing into their brains and colliding. The two sat opposite each other, both with their eyes closed and brows knitted tightly, pondering over some difficult question. The starlight slowly disappeared. Star Constellation chessboard flew into Fairy Zi Wei's hands. Fairy Zi Wei slowly opened her eyes, but Feng Jin Huang did not. She fell softly to the ground as she had passed out on the spot. This child. Fairy Zi Wei was not nervous, she merely sighed. She knew Feng Jin Huang's condition like the back of her hand. In the end, Feng Jin Huang was only a Gu master, unlike Fairy Zi Wei who was a rank 8 grade expert. The original deduction speed arranged by Fairy Zi Wei was very suitable for Feng Jin Huang. However, Feng Jin Huang insisted that she did not want to slow down the progress and waste Fairy Zi Wei's time because of her own reasons. After all, Fairy Zi Wei was a key figure in Heavenly Court. When Feng Jin Huang slowly woke up, she found that she had already left the deduction hall and had returned to Central Great Hall. Well done, Huang heir. Duke Long looked at Feng Jin Huang and was extremely pleased. You have actually improved the pure dream reality seeker physique, eliminating the flaw of this physique entirely. You are indeed worthy of being the fated great dream immortal venerable. Feng Jin Huang was a little embarrassed from the praise. Master, to be honest, I was only able to do so by coincidence. Do you remember the killer move Shatter Dream I created previously? This modification was done based on its results. The entire process was thanks to Lady Zi Wei's deductions. I was only playing a minor supplementary role in modifying the pure dream reality seeker physique. Fairy Zi Wei smiled. Little Huang heir, you're too modest. It is precisely because you provided the correct direction that we were able to make our deductions. If not for that, I'm afraid that even if I had made many calculations, I would have gained nothing. Duke Long spoke with great solemnness. Huang heir, this perfect pure dream reality seeker physique is extremely significant to you. It is the key to your future achievements. You must grasp it well and remember that you must undergo immortal ascension using the pure dream reality seeker physique in the future. Feng Jin Huang had never seen such solemnity from Duke Long before. She nodded her head. Yes, master, I will definitely keep that in mind. Duke Long nodded. You can go, I still have important matters to discuss with Fairy Zi Wei. This disciple takes her leave. Feng Jin Huang immediately left obediently. This time, Huang heir was able to obtain the perfect pure dream reality seeker physique. You deserve credit for that. Duke Long said to Fairy Zi Wei. It was indeed so. Not only did Fairy Zi Wei play a major role in the deduction, but the original pure dream reality seeker physique was also obtained because she looked through the memories of Spectral Soul. Without this foundation, no matter how much inspiration or direction Feng Jin Huang had, she would not be able to make any progress. Fairy Zi Wei smiled. This is my duty. If you hadn't captured Spectral Soul alive, I wouldn't have been able to soul search him. Speaking of which, the one Huang heir has to thank is you, her master. Duke Long shook his head slightly. This is shameful. As a master, I actually have very little to teach. I don't know anything about Dream Path, but fortunately, Huang Er possesses an extraordinary talent in Dream Path. It is also an honor for me to be able to do something for the future Great Dream Immortal Venerable. How has the practice of the killer move Benevolent Equality gone recently? Fairy Zi Wei's face turned solemn. There is no problem with Benevolent Gu. As for the killer move, I have successfully activated it several times. Did you find anything strange? Duke Long pursued. Fairy Zi Wei denied, not at all. Duke Long intoned, this means that benevolent equality is effective. But why haven't we seen any results? Yes. Fairy Zi Wei's eyebrows were knitted. Using benevolent equality to deal with spring-autumn cicada is a plan we have had all along. Looking at Fang Yuan's recent actions, all of them have been well planned and prepared, such as the battle in the River of Time, or the Dragon Palace fight. He had a good head start. He must have been reborn already, but why does no one on our side have memories of the previous life? The effect of benevolent equality was just as the name implied. Once Fairy Zi Wei used the killer move, the people that she looked at during the process would experience equivalent changes to their conditions. For example, after Fairy Zi Wei used benevolent equality, she saw Fang Yuan's rebirth. At the same time, she looked towards Duke Long. Then if Fang Yuan self-detonated using the killer move spring-autumn success, his memories would go back to his past self. Duke Long would receive the same treatment, his memories would also go back to his former self. We don't know exactly what happened in Fang Yuan's last life. Previously, it was speculated that we couldn't borrow Benevolent Gu, causing benevolent equality to be unusable. But now it seems we indeed gained this method. So was this result the effect of Fang Yuan's rebirth, and we actually did not gain benevolent equality in our previous life, or was it because something happened to me in the previous life, causing me to not use benevolent equality on him? Fairy Zi Wei was in a predicament. A while after being awakened and understanding the current situation, Duke Long proposed to use benevolent equality to deal with spring-autumn cicada. Spring-autumn cicada was refined by his disciple, Red Lotus Demon Venerable. Demon Venerable knew the ways to deal with this cicada. The time of Fang Yuan's rebirth was easily calculable by Fairy Zi Wei. It was at the time when Heavenly Court attacked Langya Blessed Land. The Fang Yuan before this and the Fang Yuan after this time had a different style of action and a completely different success rate in his plans. Before Heavenly Court attacked Langya Blessed Land, Fang Yuan failed to regain the upper extreme Heavenly Eagle and was trapped by Lu Wei Yin. After that, Fang Yuan had countless adequate preparations to deal with Heavenly Court's attack. Heavenly Court's side was repeatedly restrained, their advantages could not be utilized while their disadvantages were infinitely magnified, yet Fang Yuan was just the opposite. Duke Long pondered, actually, there is another possibility. In the previous life, you successfully used benevolent equality, but you saw no one else but Fang Yuan. Or perhaps this person is not a Gu immortal who is loyal to Heavenly Court. There was a slight flicker of light in the eyes of Fairy Zi Wei. If that's the case, then who could this crucial person be? Longevity Heaven. BZZZ BZZZ BZZZ. Orange-yellow light flickered endlessly, enveloping the sky of Longevity Heaven. Next, an aura started from an extremely weak state and grew rapidly, soon filling the world and shaking people's hearts. Such a change had already attracted the attention of 5 Elements Grandmaster, Bull Demon, and Flower Lady. 5 Elements Grandmaster was a lone cultivator of Northern Plains, but after getting trapped by Longevity Heaven, he felt despair after struggling and decided to join Longevity Heaven. He was not stationed in Longevity Heaven permanently. Bull Demon and Flower Lady were a duo that took the role of North Desolation Immortal together. What happened? 5 Elements Grandmaster was very uncertain. Bull Demon and Flower Lady looked at each other, seeing the joy on each other's faces. The latter giggled. West Desolation Immortal Bing Sai Chuan has awakened. Bing Sai Chuan. 5 Elements Grandmaster's brows rose, he felt that the name was familiar. At this moment, there was a loud roar, ripples of light flickered in the sky, rainbows extended like rivers as they pierced through the horizons. A figure walked down from the river. He had a tall body and soft facial features, but his eyes were extremely sharp and icy, emitting a cold gaze. From his right ear to the left corner of his lips, there was an ugly scar. It was flickering with white light. while emitting the coldness of 1,000-year profound ice. Five Elements Grandmaster was deeply shocked. I remember now, this is the Bing Sai Chuan who was born in Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's generation. He was a rank 8 legend, a time path great expert. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable had tried 3 times before subduing him. He did not die. He is actually the West Desolation Immortal of Longevity Heaven. Longevity Heaven was a bit different from Heavenly Court. It had 4 Desolation Immortals and 8 extremities, a total of 12 positions. Among which, the 4 Desolation Immortals were only meant for rank 8 Gu Immortals, while the 8 extremities needed at least rank 7 cultivation level, and they had to be elites among rank 7s. Greetings, Senior West Desolation. Bull Demon and Flower Lady quickly went to greet him while 5 Elements Grandmaster followed after with a reverent expression. West Desolation Immortal Bing Sai Chuan's seniority was simply too high. Bing Sai Chuan went up to the 3, he nodded after looking around. I am awake but I do not have much lifespan, time is limited. Give me the information of the current world, I need to know about it. Longevity Heaven had very comprehensive information. They had detailed information of the collapse of 88 True Yang Building, the reappearance of Dragon Palace in Eastern Sea, and Heavenly Court Central Continent Refinement Path Convention. Fang Yuan, he actually extorted Southern Border's righteous path using rank 7 cultivation level, while causing huge problems for Heavenly Court time and again in the River of Time. He is truly a world-shaking person. Qi Si Ancestor, able to fight equally with Duke Long. This is very rare. Eastern Sea has a lot of hidden depths. There's also Fong Di Chong, he actually refined Divine Bean Palace. This world really has no lack of experts. After gaining intel, Bing Sai Chuan laughed loudly with a heroic aura. After his laughter, Bing Sai Chuan's eyes shined with bright light. Since Fang Yuan is the person who destroyed 88 True Yang Building, he is the crucial person who Lord Giant Sun Immortal Venerable mentioned. Bull Demon, Flower Lady, and 5 Elements Grandmaster were stunned. Bing Sai Chuan's words involved the deep secrets of history. Did Giant Sun Immortal Venerable predict that Fang Yuan would destroy 88 True Yang Building? If he could predict that, why would he let Fang Yuan succeed? Bing Sai Chuan did not answer them. He gave his orders. We cannot let Fate Gu be repaired completely, we need to stop them during this refinement path convention. We have to contact Fang Yuan now and make an alliance. What? The 3 immortals were shocked. Bing Sai Chuan frowned. Can any of you contact Fang Yuan? The 3 immortals shook their heads in a daze. Bing Sai Chuan's brows furrowed even tighter. Then what are you waiting for? Do I have to search for the way to contact Fang Yuan myself? In the last life, Langya sect had joined Longevity Heaven, so they easily obtained a way to contact Fang Yuan from Langya Land's spirit. But now, Fang Yuan absorbed the entire 4 races variant human alliance including Langya Blessed Land. Longevity Heaven was not involved. Bing Sai Chuan wanted to contact Fang Yuan but he was stuck at the first step. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1919, Immortal Gu Responsive Luck. 1919 Immortal Gu Responsive Luck. Inside the Sovereign Immortal Aperture. Mini Northern Plains. Are you all prepared? Shui stood in the snow crystal formation as she observed the tens of frost chi lumps. We are prepared, Supreme Elder. A female snowman rank 5 Gu Master knelt on the ground, speaking reverently. Then go, remember to attend to them enthusiastically. Of course, if you suffer any misgivings, do not take it wordlessly. Shui thought about it and said. Yes. The female snowman Gu Master left. Shui sighed a little. Ever since she had been placed here by Fang Yuan, she had been dedicated to the development of the snowman tribe. With the aid of Fang Yuan's snow crystal formation, Shui worked hard and the size of the snowman tribe quadrupled under her command, turning into a huge variant human tribe. My husband has finally brought in the human race. If I had the time, I'd love to go see for myself. Unfortunately, I can't get away here. Shui looked at the frost chi, she felt downcast. She manipulated the formation, carefully maintaining it. Ever since Fang Yuan annexed Qi Si Grotto Heaven, his Qi Path Dao marks had risen greatly, causing a tremendous impact to the sovereign immortal aperture. The effects had yet to stop, still gradually transforming every aspect of the sovereign immortal aperture. For example, the snowman tribe with Shui in charge had been experiencing a surge in frost qi. Every few months, Shui had to come here personally to manipulate the formation and maintain it. If the frost qi gathers to a certain extent, beyond the limit, this frost qi would turn into a frost tide. A frost tide would be a calamity for the physically weak snowmen. As for the surroundings, it would be heavily damaged too. In fact, when the frost tide spreads out, it would be a problem for the whole of mini northern plains. Because of the regional walls, the other 4 mini-regions would not be affected by the frost tide. Not long ago, Fang Yuan sent a letter to inform Shui that a city would be placed near the Snowman tribe's location. By then, he would need the Snowman tribe to gather their people and send gifts while interacting with the newcomers. Shui naturally followed his instructions, but all along, her variant human group had been suppressed by humans all along. Asking her to interact with the humans now made her feel some lingering fear from her past. If possible, Shui would like the whole of mini northern plains to be ruled by snowmen. But that was just an impossible dream. Fang Yuan was a human after all. When his immortal aperture gets developed to an extent, he would bring in humans to live. That was the sign that an immortal aperture was prospering and growing. The Snowman Tribes group had just moved out when Mini Western Desert's Inkman group arrived at its destination. As the Inkman City Lord, Mo Tan Sang flew high in the sky, quietly awaiting. It's coming. Suddenly, his eyes shined with bright light. In the sky, a dazzling rainbow light flashed brightly. Around this colored profound light, the earth pushed out in all directions. The colored profound light grew larger and larger, gradually revealing the vague illusory phantom of a city. This phantom became more and more real. Eventually the brilliant light dissipated, adding thousands of miles of land to the original location. A city was located at the center of the newly added land. It was the sacred eagle city of Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven. The Inkman Gu master group was already kneeling on the ground, praising and cheering at such a mystical sight. Only when Mo Tan Sang gave the orders did they stand up. The gates of Sacred Eagle City opened. The city folks inside had already been informed and quickly gathered into a welcoming party. The two parties met at the city gates, as contact officially began. The people of Sacred Eagle City curiously sized up the dark-skinned, white-haired ink men. The ink men gradually let go of their worries. They had also been living under the heavy pressure of the human race for a long time, but they did not expect this new group of people to be so easygoing. The conversation stemmed from a place of equality, which made the ink men happy from the bottom of their hearts. Is this Lord Mo Tan Sang? The eagle warrior who was in charge of Sacred Eagle City flew towards Mo Tan Sang. From now on, we will be in your care. Likewise, likewise. Mo Tan Sang smiled. You don't have to be too polite, we're all allies here. Mini Blue Heaven. The cloud soil gathered into a small hanging continent. After the starlight flashed, a majestic city was suddenly added to this originally empty continent. This city was scarred and devastated. It was Star Collection City, which had resisted the poisonous smoke Grand Tribulation earlier. In the center of Star Collection City, there was already a brand new Star Snail Hall, which was a mortal goo house that Fang Yuan had purposely built. As for the Star Sea Snail that originally served as the hall, it had been put into the treasury by Fang Yuan. This was an immemorial desolate beast, and the shell of the snail was in rank 8 immortal material. If it was handed over to the old combat beast king, he would not know how to process it. He would only let the Dao marks on the immortal material dissipate naturally. That would be too wasteful. Is this your father's world? It is so huge. The old combat beast king quietly left Star Collection City as he flew around, sighing to himself deeply. Accompanying him was none other than Budu. This is Mini Blue Heaven. There are 9 other places like this in my father's immortal aperture world. I'm sure we'll be able to live well here. The old combat beast king nodded and asked, how do we contact the others? Use this. It is an information path mortal goo. Budu took out Immortal Gu and handed it to the old Combat Beast King. The Combat Beast King's cultivation was at rank 8 but his knowledge was very shallow. This simple information path Mortal Gu made him marvel in awe. I can't believe that Gu worms can be this useful. This is how they should be used. The Beast Calamity true inheritance that I received says this as well. Budu smiled shyly. Please don't blame me, Grandpa Combat Beast King, my father wanted me to keep this as a secret. The old Combat Beast King nodded. I understand. I wonder what your father wants me to do. For the time being, we would like Grandpa Combat Beast King and the other warriors to learn the traditional Gu cultivation method. This place is not safe, we have strong enemies outside. Budu said vaguely. The old Combat Beast King was shook. Your father is willing to impart the true cultivation way to us. Of course he is. We are all allies. Budu smiled. Fang Yuan annexed Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven. Getting rid of the myriad tribulation in Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven expended a lot of his immortal essence and effort, but it could not stop Fang Yuan. He almost single-handedly got rid of the Grotto Heaven's crisis. Fang Yuan's reputation also rose to its peak. Next, with the help of Budu, the owner of Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven, he successfully annexed Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven and brought it into his sovereign immortal aperture. Different from the previous life, Fang Yuan had already made all the preparations now, he deduced everything in advance. After annexing the Grotto Heaven, he split up the Grotto Heaven and placed the different parts all over the sovereign immortal aperture. Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven had several major gathering spots, some contained a portion of Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven's true inheritance. Fang Yuan placed Sacred Eagle City, Dark Valley, Spirit Spring Forest, Mountain Cliff City, Star Collection City in Mini Western Desert, Mini Southern Border, Mini Central Continent, Mini Northern Plains and Mini Blue Heaven respectively. Of course, other than that, the many major resource points in Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven were also handled properly by Fang Yuan. Fully absorbing this Grotto Heaven would take time. The fusing of ecologies needed to reach a balance, time was needed for that, as well as the patience of the Gu immortals managing the place. Fang Yuan obtained myriad beings assimilation transformation again. The Qilin heavenly spirit was also alive at the largest piece of territory. Fang Yuan gained more than 200,000 transformation path Dao marks from this. In the previous life, Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven gave him over 100,000 transformation path Dao marks only. But in this life, because of Fang Yuan's arrangements, there was ample time to trigger the second myriad tribulation. The original owner of Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven only survived the first myriad tribulation before dying. By the time Fang Yuan discovered Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven, its second myriad tribulation was approaching. After passing the second myriad tribulation, Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven gained another 100,000 Dao marks. Thus, in terms of transformation path Dao marks, Fang Yuan gained about double of them this time. The more Dao marks he had, the better it was for him. Oh, Bing Sai Chuan has awakened, he wants to cooperate. Fang Yuan received this information and smiled. Even though Longevity Heaven could not contact Fang Yuan directly, they found a method to do so. They knew that Southern Border's righteous path had been extorted by him before, they definitely had ways to contact him. Thus, by finding one of Southern Border's super forces, and paying a high price, they would gain this method. Bing Sai Chuan immediately talked to Fang Yuan, saying that he wished to cooperate with him. In the previous life, Fang Yuan was a little puzzled, but this time, he understood the reason. Bing Sai Chuan wants to work together and gather everyone's strength to try to snatch Fate Gu away. However, I need them to attack Heavenly Court as well, they will test the water for me and lure away some firepower. Fang Yuan was wary about many things in Heavenly Court. For example, Genesis Lotus Painting Path Method, or the game of chess between two venerables in Imperfection Regret Pavilion. Fang Yuan agreed to cooperate with Bing Sai Chuan. This instead made Bing Sai Chuan have some doubts. Why did Fang Yuan agree to this so readily? He is likely suspicious of us, he wants to see our future actions. Bing Sai Chuan frowned, he felt that he should find an opportunity to fight together with Fang Yuan and show his sincerity. But after thinking about it, Bing Sichuan could not find any suitable targets. In the previous life, he had no such worries. Be it the River of Time, Stone Lotus Island or Dragon Palace, he could ally with Fang Yuan to fight. But in this life, Fang Yuan changed many things. He obtained Dragon Palace in advance, the River of Time battle ended in Heavenly Court's defeat, they had not recovered even now, still being fearful to step into this forbidden ground that Fang Yuan personally created. Heavenly Court. Qin Dingling looked at Fong Di Chong, smiling, "Tell me, since you approached me personally, what is your request?" Towards this exemplary junior who was also the Tao guardian of the future Great Dream Immortal Venerable, Qin Dingling was quite appreciative. Fong Di Chong hesitated for a while before speaking. "I would like to borrow a rank 8 luck path Immortal Gu from Senior, Responsive Luck." Qin Dingling was slightly surprised, before she realized, "Sure, I agree to your request." Saying so, she handed Responsive Luck Immortal Gu to Fong Di Chong on the spot. Fong Di Chong was slightly stunned. Qin Dingling said, "I know that you are creating a new killer move, this Responsive Luck Immortal Gu must be very helpful to you, otherwise, with your nature, you will not ask to borrow my Gu worm." Fong Di Chong nodded, receiving Responsive Luck Immortal Gu, "That is correct." He had already created an 80% complete Destiny Song. He found that rank 8 Fate Armor Immortal Gu could not shoulder the grand and vast Destiny Song, he needed another Luck Path Immortal Gu as the core. With Fong Di Chong's current understanding, Responsive Luck Immortal Gu was the most suitable for him. Qin Dingling looked at this Immortal Gu and sighed, "The Immortal Gu recipe for Responsive Luck Immortal Gu was not actually created by me, I had secretly taken a look at the manuscript written by Giant Sun Immortal Venerable. In the future, if you use this Gu to deal with the Northern Plains Gu Immortals, we will give them a taste of their own medicine. I will give this Immortal Gu to you." Fong Di Chong thanked Qin Dingling as he said, "This Gu is not enough, I will need to head to the River of Time, view the past and present, and observe the paths of all lives." Qin Dingling frowned, "According to what I know, even though Heavenly Court is working at full speed, we have only created one time path Immortal Gu house as of now. Going to the River of Time now is simply courting death. Let me take a look at your luck, to try to find a hidden chance for you." Fong Di Chong thanked her once again. "If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 1920, Convention begins. 1920 Convention begins. The River of Time flowed endlessly. Heavenly Court. Discussion Hall. Heavenly Court's Gu Immortals gathered, there were few Gu Immortals who did not come, this was the largest gathering that Heavenly Court had in the last 1,000 years. Duke Long sat at the highest seat, he looked around, "We have explained our plan, go ahead and execute it. Whether we can restore the glory of Heavenly Court will depend on everyone's hard work. We will do our best." All of the Immortals resounded, they were very motivated. The Central Continent Refinement Path Convention that would affect all 5 regions and the future of the world was about to begin. Once news got out, the world was shaken. Thanks to Fang Yuan's intentional spread of news, all the Gu Immortals knew of the importance of this Refinement Path Convention. But mortal Gu Masters had no idea, they thought that this Central Continent Refinement Path Convention was like the usual ones in the past. Gu Masters started to move, heading towards Central Continent. Each Central Continent Refinement Path Convention would attract the Gu Masters of the other 4 regions to participate, it involved all 5 regions and was a huge event. But this time was slightly different from the beginning. Western Desert. A huge group of Gu Masters stood in front of the regional wall. A youngster sighed loudly, "Father, if I were not seeing this personally, I simply could not believe there is such an amazing thing in the world. This is the regional wall. Once we get past this, we will reach Central Continent." The middle-aged Gu Master beside the youngster said, "After entering the regional wall, our vision will be restricted, by then, you need to stay by my side and not get lost. Understood?" "Yes, Father, I will." The youngster nodded obediently. Zhang Quan looked at his son Zhang Ping, feeling very proud. His son had strong refinement path talent. For his future development, Zhang Quan brought him on a journey to participate in the Central Continent Refinement Path Convention, to train his refinement path ability and also to gain some knowledge. What sound is that? At the next moment, Zhang Quan looked up in confusion. Next, his pupils shrunk as he showed great shock. A huge meteor that was the size of a hill crashed down towards them. The surrounding Gu masters screamed in fear. Why is this happening? We're doomed. Instantly, Zhang Quan felt great regret. If he had decided to travel to Central Continent alone, his son would not die with him. Boom! The meteor crashed down on the ground, causing an earth-shaking explosion. Zhang Quan and the rest died without intact corpses. In the sky, an Inkman Gu immortal looked around coldly before leaving. Similar scenes were happening all over the 5 regions. These Gu immortals were all Fang Yuan's subordinates. They had received his order to prevent people from joining the Central Continent Refinement Path Convention. Next, Fang Yuan publicly announced in Treasure Yellow Heaven, if anyone joins the Refinement Path Convention, you will be making an enemy out of me. One day, I will find you and settle the score. The Gu immortals of the 5 regions sighed in amazement. The Central Continent Refinement Path Convention had just started, but Fang Yuan made his move already. As expected of the little demon venerable, he was rampant and brutal. Heavenly Court was enraged. Because the assault of Fang Yuan's subordinates would cause much fewer Gu masters to join the convention, it would be disadvantageous in repairing Fate Gu. Different from the previous life, Fang Yuan ordered his subordinates to only move around northern plains, southern border, western desert, and eastern sea. This way, Central Continent and Heavenly Court's Gu immortals could not head to the other 4 regions and save these people. During this period of time, if Central Continent and Heavenly Court's Gu immortals head to the other 4 regions, they would be angering and provoking the other 4 regions' super forces. Heavenly Court could only accuse Fang Yuan of his heinous crimes and communicate with the righteous paths of the other regions to get them to take revenge on this terribly demonic act. The righteous paths of the other 4 regions responded loudly, but they took little action. Even if they did anything, they were merely doing it superficially, creating a lot of noise but little effect. In the previous life, Fang Yuan acted in Central Continent itself and was faced with much obstruction not long after. In this life, Fang Yuan took action in advance. He immediately gained huge results in battle. The waves of Gu masters rushing to Central Continent immediately ceased. Nobody wanted to die just because of one Central Continent Refinement Path Convention. Furthermore, the 4 region super forces had also stopped their own Gu masters from joining the convention. It caused this current Refinement Path Convention to be very sparse in attendance. Central Continent, Unification Sect. As one of the sign-up locations of the Refinement Path Convention, it was filled with people and commotion as well. The Refinement Path Convention is about to start. Strange, why do I not see people from the other 4 regions? Luo Xing sighed. In the previous Refinement Path Convention, he had lost to a Northern Plains Gu master by chance. This time, he was trying to find that Northern Plains Gu master again for a rematch. Luo Xing was eager to prove himself. But Central Continent is too large, the 5 regions are too broad, geniuses are everywhere. He looked around and found that 3 people here were tough opponents for himself. One was an old man that had been reputed for many years. He was also a refinement path master. Another was a young man, and the last one was a young girl. The former had performed well in the previous convention, while the latter was a rising star that had emerged in the last 10 years. This refinement path convention is still going to be that intense. I must make good use of this opportunity. I cannot fail anymore. I will prove myself. I will let my wife and children be proud. Boom! At the next moment, a huge ancient year beast descended from the sky, crushing the entire hall to ruin. All of his grand ambitions vanished into thin air. The young Gu master with a great future, the genius young girl who was thought of highly, they all died pitifully on the spot. Their bones and flesh were mashed together, even the corpses could not be seen clearly. In the sky, Bai Ningbing's figure flashed rapidly. She was in charge of moving around. Every destination she reached, she released ancient year beasts. As for the result, Fang Yuan said that she did not need to be concerned with that. Earlier, Fang Yuan sent variant human Gu immortals to kill Gu master participants in advance. Now, he ordered shadow sex immortals to infiltrate Central Continent and use ancient year beasts to destroy the sign-up locations, to create bloodshed as countless elite Gu masters face their end. After learning of this situation, Heavenly Court immediately spread news of the truth. There really are immortals in this world. The culprit behind everything is Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan, you killed my father, I will definitely take revenge for this immense hatred. Even rank 5s are just ants if they do not become Gu immortals. Immortals are high and mighty, why must I sacrifice my life for a mere refinement path convention? Forget it, forget it. I must go. If I do not go, wouldn't I fall into that Fang Yuan scheme? Some were fearful, some felt emotional, some backed out, while some became determined. They are trying to gather the rage of the people and accumulate human will. In the previous life, Fang Yuan did not know what Heavenly Court was doing, but now, he was deeply aware. Fang Yuan quickly ordered his subordinates to stop. Heavenly Court and Central Continent's Gu immortals gathered rage and hatred, they were about to take action when they found that Fang Yuan's subordinates all vanished without a trace. Isn't Fang Yuan trying to destroy the Central Continent Refinement Path Convention? Why did he stop? The 4 regions' super forces who were watching the show felt very perplexed. In a secret meeting in southern border, Wu Yong analyzed some of Fang Yuan's thoughts. Fang Yuan had an early advantage. If he continues, Heavenly Court will deduce the locations of his attackers, he will lose many subordinates. Then will Fang Yuan attack again? Someone asked. Of course. Wu Yong said without doubt, but before that, we need to move out secretly too. In the previous life, Fang Yuan attacked personally and caused destruction. Not long after, he was marked by the Killer Move people's accusation, he had to hide while his subordinates like Bai Ningbing took action. This time, Fang Yuan lurked and concealed himself while ordering his subordinates to cause destruction and bloodshed. Others were not like Fang Yuan who could defend against Fairy Zi Wei's deductions using wisdom path methods. Thus, Fang Yuan ordered Bai Ningbing and the rest to hide themselves after causing some level of destruction. The Refinement Path Convention had just started. The huge battle had not begun, these subordinates were still very useful to Fang Yuan. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible.